Accra. Go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site to bet on selected match week and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. You always get more with Betway. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more. Accra.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou, and tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
It will take 1 month. It will take 1 month. But it's not. The order is not a sequential order, meaning that we will only go to another place after we are done with this. No.
Citi FM and Citi TV does groundbreaking ceremony for shelter that will cater for displaced residents of Tokbu in the Shai Osudoku district of the Greater Accra region. We'll tell you what entailed there today. Also coming up, court gives all clear for the organization of the Gamanye funeral this weekend after an earlier injunction.
You should ignore what we call distractions. The order that people are misinterpreting has been set aside. So there's no order anymore. Then we have every right to proceed and do what we told you we were doing.
And later on Eyewitness News, if Kennedy Ejepong wins, all NPP MPs who supported Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be booted out of Parliament. That's a message from his campaign chairman. We'll be hearing from the MPP MPs who are on the Team DMB agenda. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more of this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
GNPC clarifies non-payment of petroleum revenues by Jubilee Oil Holding Limited into Petroleum Holding Fund after concerns raised by PIAC.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across the country on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Upper West region on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli, as well as Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. In the Upper East region, we are on Rikas 92.1 FM in Bongo, Namo. In the Northern region, we are on North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. Take you to the Northeast region, and we are live on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. If you go to the Western region, we are on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM in Takrady as well. In Ashanti region, we are live on Focus 94.3 FM on the campus of KNUST in Kumasi, as well as Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. If you go to the Volta region, we are on Sela Radio 97.1 in Dabala and Holy 98.5 FM in Aplao. We are also live in the Savannah region on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live on citynewsroom.com. We're live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are also interactive. Join us on WhatsApp 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag City Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. Well, we promised yesterday that we are going to start building a project for people who have been displaced by water, flood waters, that is, from the Akosombo Dam. And Citi FM and Citi TV, we've targeted at least 3 places that we plan to do this project. One of them is Tokpo in the Shai Osudoko district. Another is Adan in the Adan East district. Let me say also that cement has been deployed to both centers, 500 bags apiece for the 2 centers that we are talking about, Adan and Tokpo. But let's focus on Tokpo, where the big groundbreaking happened today. It has to do with the deployment of building materials. Now, Citi FM management, led by the board chairman Nikamate Fio and spouse, followed by the managing director Samuel Atam Mensah and some other managers, went to the township of Tokpo today to meet with community leaders, traditional rulers, and political leaders in that area to break the ground for the commencement of the building project that would house at least 200 people. Now, in attendance were the chiefs of the area, the assembly member, and also the politicians from the district headed, district which is headed by the district chief executive, the president's representative. He was also there in Tokpo, and I was there. After the groundbreaking ceremony, I interviewed the DCE for Shai Osudoku, Fred Ofe, and he was overjoyed. Listen to him.
To be honest, I'm overwhelmed today, and then many thanks go to the Almighty for Citi FM to listen to our plight. And my greatest thanks also go to the MD and then the board chairman of Citi FM. And you yourself can see the terrain. That I'm not only the person who is happy, but everybody that was present is happy for today. And I at least expected that this day will come. And even I don't know how even to say, but one of the greatest also thanks goes to Umaru, and I salute you for that. For remembering where you also come from, and listening to your people, and you've always been coming around, seeing you behind a motorbike, because in our area it's one of the depressed area, coming downstream to see what your people are going through. Umaru, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. TV. How huge is the devastation in our district? To be honest, people never see our place like one of the disastrous areas, but it has taken effect, most effect. To be honest, the displaced people or displaced communities are about 6, but the rest, which is about 30 communities, their farms and other things have been destroyed. So in terms of devastating, we've been affected seriously, which I am using your medium to plead that when you are advertising and talking about these village issues, inculcate child Sudoku in it. So most of the people think we are not part. They've classified our area to go as part of the Volta region, which is left out by it wasn't like that. It's share boundary with Northern. So the water divides us and Northern. So the same issue that Northern had, we had similar. But though theirs is more than that of us, but we've been affected seriously.
So that's Fred Ofe. He was speaking to me on the City Prime News this afternoon, live from Tokpo in the Osudoku side of the Shai Osudoku district of the Greater Accra region, where Citi FM and Citi TV broke ground today, or actually went to do that ceremony, the groundbreaking ceremony for the commencement of a housing unit, which housing unit will be housing the displaced persons from Jongpo, Abuvienu and Abuvienu Kwong, who have had to flee their homes that were inundated by water and having to come and camp at the Tokpo Basic School. The idea by Citi FM and Citi TV is to ensure that the classrooms become free for the children to go to school. In fact, the Director of Education was there today. She said the community students would be lagging behind, but they would find a solution as soon as this building project is done and the students are able to get back to the classroom. Like I said, they were NADMO officials. The Deputy Director General of NADMO, Seji Saji, was also there, gave an assurance that they were working to ensure people have their livelihoods restored. That is, the VRA officials in attendance also gave us an assurance. You've heard the DCE mention that I was on a motorbike, and that is because earlier in the day, we've had to send a trailer full of sachet water and bottled water to other communities in an electoral area near Tokpo. Now, that electoral area is known as Dofo, and it has areas such as Atrobinya and Volivo. These community members, the Assemblyman Owen, had called up to us an SOS message saying that they needed water because their water body had been polluted due to the overflowing of the Volta River. We've had to send them water, which water they received today with a lot of excitement. So let's return to Tokpo and now hear from Samuel Atamensa, he's CEO of Citi FM and Citi TV. He spoke to me after the sword cutting ceremony.
They've been overwhelmed and lost for words. They don't know what else to do. And it's like they received it in disbelief. But thanks to the donors, the listeners, and other corporate bodies that have contributed, it's just putting it to the right and appropriate use. And I think that it's just the beginning of many interventions that we are going to do regarding this unfortunate situation.
With this project we have started today, or we've broken ground for, what is the estimation that we'll finish?
It will take 1 month. It will take 1 month. But it's not. The order is not a sequential order, meaning that we will only go to another place after we are done with this. No, we are running all three locations simultaneously. We are from here next week. We are starting at Dar East, and then Central Town follows.
So you've heard the CEO and MD of Citi FM and Citi TV, Samuel Atamensa. We've started from Tokpo today, and the next step is Adan in the Adan East District, and then we'll go to Central Town, Bakba. That is where we are going to go next. Let me just say that preparations are underway for commencement of work in Adan. We have been working with the District Chief Executive, who has actually given us land just by the Assembly, where we're going to put up that project. Meanwhile, in the Tokpo area, the land was given to us by the Assembly member and the Animle family. That's the family head of the area adjoining to the Tokpo RC school. And we are using laborers from the community or artisans from the community for this particular building project. Carpenters are going to come from there. Masons are going to come from there. We have an architect that we are sending from Accra, which architect was trained at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology under Citi FM's Opportunity Project in Education, COPE. He is going to facilitate that project, and then the building expected to be finished in a month or so that people can move in and give some reprieve to the classroom blocks where school children can now retain and start their learning activities. Now, I've already indicated earlier that we sent 1,000 bags of cement to the site today, 500 for Tokpo, 500 for Adan. We'll be sending more if need be. And the ones who facilitated the arrival of the cement to that area is a company known as Supersem. Now, Supersem brought us a trailer full of cement, which we took there. And indeed, Supersem also bussed its staff and management to witness the groundbreaking ceremony. After that, I spoke to Kojo Arthur. He's head of sales.
Basically, we build dreams and we build buildings. We actually build the quality buildings you see around. So it was actually an advantage for us to also come around and see what people need from us. We had the news. We had Bernard calling us to say that, hey guys, we want to build a dream of the people down here. So we decided to donate 1,000 bags to our friends here and also try to make sure that we pay for the cost of the artisans. We didn't do this alone. We had our distributors who helped us to actually get this dream up. So we have our distributors like Jamens, who's in Kaswa. And if you want to buy Super 7, just go to Jamens, you can have it. You can go to all the KO shops, you can get Super 7 there. Another KJC as well sells Super 7. So basically, we are here to support and we're here to build a dream. Thank you so much. Why should people go for Super 7? So it's basically the quality. I say, we don't say cement, but we say Super 7 because of the quality. You want to buy cement and you're building for future. we are not building now. So it means that you need to use a cement that will be reliable and sustainable for the environment.
So that's the head of sales at SuperSem, Kojo Arthur, speaking to us after delivering those 1,000 bags of cement to us at Tokpo today at the groundbreaking ceremony. Aside the cement, SuperSem also brought toiletries that it delivered to the community members, as well as a check of 5,000 cedis, which it gave to the community members to use through their chiefs. And at this juncture, I think it's fair to say to you that if you're listening and you're touched and you want to also join to ensure people get a safe sleeping place, it is not too late to join the relief support campaign for affected residents of Akosombo Dam spillage in the lower Volta, organized by Citi TV and Citi FM. The Momo number to send your contributions to is 0550 900 006. Let me repeat that, 0550 900 006. And the name registered is Omni Media. You can reference flood support when you send your Momo. Alternatively, you can show up tomorrow, from tomorrow all the way to next week and the day after, on the City Breakfast Show. Bring your relief items or any support that if you want to bring cash donations, you want to do it in person, please come to our office at Adabraka behind the police station. Then bring your support and we'll let the world know what you have brought and we'll be very grateful. And talking about people bringing staff to support us, a lot happened on the City Breakfast Show today, didn't it, Howard?
For your standard, the Ghana Petroleum Mooring System has contributed 200,000 cedis and 30 bags of water to the Citi FM and Citi TV relief campaign for the affected resident of the lower Volta. The station has also announced phase 2 of its relief efforts, which aims to build 4 shelters at a cost of 200,000 cedis each. The management of the Ghana Petroleum Mooring System expressed their appreciation for the effort of Citi FM and Citi TV in assisting the victims of the spillage. Finance Manager Shamsuddin Musa spoke on the City Breakfast Show earlier today.
Being the chief of the region,
yes. After being there,
yeah,
before he goes there,
yeah,
the whole thing started. We'll be monitoring, like Gladys mentioned, we're monitoring what is going on in this.
Yeah.
And he's a chief in Abeyime.
Yes.
Oh, I
So
see.
when it should happen.
Oh, Togui Maniba. Oh, Togui.
I actually passed through your town last week when I was coming.
The first thing he did was to support his community. So
Yeah,
so much personal
directly.
level.
Yeah.
He talked to me. We tried to also, individual supports the community. So during that discussion, that's when so why can't we look at corporate way?
So he personally did some support
A lot-
because
yeah, he was. From day one, he was supporting the community on personal level every day, sending some things there every day. But so out of that discussion, that's what we came. Then why don't we look at how we can do corporately? And to be honest, this is the easiest approval we've gotten from our board when it comes to. Initially, we're looking at doing relief, but looking at how much relief has come so far, and the main project City is looking at doing going forward with the settlement. We decided to look at the settlement issue really. So our focus is so we already purchased 30,000 worth of water.
Oh, okay.
To be brought to City for the relief part, and we're leaving 200,000.
Shamsuddin Musa is finance manager for the Ghana Petroleum Mooring System. Meanwhile, Tropical Cables, a prominent cable and conductor manufacturing company in Ghana, has made a commitment to supply all the required cables and conductors for the construction of shelters intended for the affected resident of the lower Volta. In addition, the company has donated 10,000 cedis to provide financial support to the affected victims. The Human Resources and Administration Manager of Tropical Cables, Andy Mensah, made this known on the City Breakfast Show.
It is actually when everything stops and starts receding that we actually realize the quantum of work to be done. So we are here also to encourage every other person in this country, every corporate society. It can be your alumni, it can be your small group, church group, anybody who enjoys electricity in this country should know that people are suffering because we just want to have electricity and we have to save our dam. Yes, so that is why we have come.
So first off, we want to be with you guys in the long haul.
Thank you.
Know you are leading this effort. Not everybody can mobilize logistics and all that. So we want to join with you to do this. We heard this week or last week that you want to put up
some shelters.
And once you do shelters, you are going to need some power.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to give them some light and all that. We want to say we want to be with you when it comes to all the cabling.
Back and watch people sacrifice for us to get electricity, and they themselves not have access to electricity.
All the cabling needs. So if we decide to increase the number of shelters, you also increase the amount of
let us know. Okay, so and we also know there are immediate needs. People need food, people need clothing, and all that. And to also help with that, we have brought a check of 10,000 cedis.
He had the Human Resources and Administration Manager of Tropical Cables, Andy Mensah. Meanwhile, the National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, PRINCOV, has donated a cash amount of 20,000 cedis to Citi FM and Citi TV's Lower Voter Relief Campaign. About 300 teachers are said to be affected by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Speaking to host of the City Breakfast Show, Bernard Avle, the president of PRINCOV, Professor Samuel Atintono, said the gesture is their way of expressing their sympathies with the victims.
I think first of all to thank you for the. We are here briefly to express our sympathy to the victims of the flooding caused by the spillage of the Akosomo hydroelectric dam. We have been following the story, and I think we are touched by what we see on the screens. And as principals of college of education, we are educators, we are teachers. And of course, this has affected teaching and learning in those areas. We are so much concerned, and we thought that we should come here to express our sympathy, and at the same time, make a donation of our widow's mite.
Wow.
Which is 20,000.
Hey! 20,000!
Charlie.
You know, teachers don't have money. No. This is, we are told over 300 teachers have been affected in the communities and more accounting. So if you look at the profession that has been affected, teachers are a lot. So we know your stakeholders have been affected, but the 20,000 is serious.
Well.
So how this is for the whole PRINCOV?
Yeah, this is for the whole PRINCOV.
20,000.
Yes. As I said, we are 46 of us, so all
wow.
have to make sacrifices.
So wow.
Professor Samuel Atintono is president of the National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Omani. Chairman. Hey, Chairman! Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX. ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. The Interior Minister Ambrose Derry today led a government delegation to officially inaugurate a divisional police command at Ejura in the Ashanti region. This is part of the government commitment to implementing the recommendations of the Justice Kumsin Committee, which investigated the disturbances in Ejura that resulted in the death of 2 individuals and the injury of 3 others. The chief of Ejura, Berima Osehwede II, played a key role in establishing the police command and hopes that this intervention will help improve security and reduce crime in the area.
The President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, issued a directive to Honorable Minister of Interior to investigate circumstances that led the shooting in Ejura. The Honorable Minister of Interior constituted a committee under the chairmanship of Judge Kingsley Kumsin, Justice of the Court of Appeal, to probe into these disturbances. The committee, after weeks of investigation, made 10 recommendations to government. The 10 recommendations was call for expansion of Ejura Police Station and an increase in personnel. While the government made strenuous efforts to provide solace to injured and families of the dead, our decision to lead my elders to mobilize resources to help provide requisite infrastructure that will facilitate increase of presence in town. So during the 2021 the Sechuaning Festival, I publicly pledged that no matter how long it was going to take, we will construct headquarters building for police division in Ejura.
Berima Osehwede II is the chief of Ejura in the Ashanti region. The Ghana Education Service has announced that it will impose administrative sanctions on the heads of schools that allowed junior high school 1 and 2 students to take the 2023 BECE. Concerns were raised in the education sector regarding the unprecedented number of over 600,000 final year students who sat for the BECE in August this year. Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Education Service, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, says this large number could potentially create challenges for them in placing all these students in senior high schools under the free SHS program.
Registering such candidates, we term as unqualified candidates. It's against WAEC, it's against GES rules and regulations. And so that is the reason why we caution them all the time during the registration process, the BEC. Those that shift to write BEC, now that we are calling on our directors and our heads to give us the class registers, and we are collaborating with WAEC, we'll be able to fish out or identify that candidate A with exam kept DHS2 because at this year he entered or she entered junior high school 1, did only 1 year, did not do because there's not even a cumulative assessment to back whatever level you are. We know that some heads are also using that as an avenue for extortion. Definitely there will be administrative sanctions against the heads that allowed or that registered these candidates. And for the candidates, yes, if you are not qualified or if you are not part of the regular people and then you fall or you found a way to register or write your BEC, definitely your BEC can be annulled. So WAEC and GES are working so hard on that. Definitely, your result will not be released. You cannot get to the next step. That is if we are able to substantiate everything that the data that we are collecting now.
Cassandra Chum Ampofo speaks for the Ghana Education Service.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. As of yesterday morning, indication we had was that there was going to be a funeral of the late Gamanye over the weekend. And then by afternoon, we received an injunction on that particular process. And today, 24 hours on, we are receiving a counter information that suggests that that injunction itself has been injuncted. Yesterday, we spoke to Ni Ayukwe Otu. He is a immediate past High Commissioner to Canada from Ghana. He was an Attorney General and also a member of the Funeral Planning Committee of the Gamanye. Let's understand what steps they took yesterday, because I've seen his name in there as legal representative. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you for having me.
I have a document before me. It's titled Nomo Emmanuel Antiawe and two others as plaintiffs versus Ni Adote Otinto and another as defendants. And the parties have been mentioned and your name as a legal representation. We spoke yesterday, 24 hours on. What legal steps have you taken and what have been the conclusion?
Well, I told you yesterday that we had not been served with any order. And you graciously read what you had for me, and then we interpreted the order that you had. I made a point that the injunction is against anybody handling the corpse or having anything to do with the corpse. And that has got nothing to do with organizing the funeral. I also explained to you that the committee is only a committee of the Traditional Council, and those misbehaving are aware that it is the Traditional Council that is organizing the funeral. I don't know whether I made that point. I would, if I didn't, that if you give your family member to a state to be enthused as the chief, he is no longer a private individual. For which reason, when we are organizing such funerals, we do what we call a joint funeral committee of the nuclear family together with the Traditional Council to ensure that the nuclear family members are not short-changed. These were members of the funeral committee who then withdrew their representation, and I went to court to misrepresent parts by which they obtained an interim injunction order against the chairman and the secretary. Why the thing did not affect the Traditional Council, we're talking about fickle-mindedness, and it's nobody's fault. If they are not sure of what is happening, it means that they can jump to the conclusion and say that, well, the funeral is not going to come on. We are going to discourage everybody. And we have, having opened the book of condolence, invited very prominent people. Almost all the three organs of state have been here, to sign. Captains of industries, all kinds of individuals have come here. So if the people begin to have doubt, after signing, they always make promises that they will be here on Saturday. What happens when they tell you that, look, because of the injunction, we are no longer going to take part? They would, take the shine out of the entire program. And so we thought it was just, even when we have not been served, we'll get to the court to get the order set aside completely. Once everybody is on the same page that the order has been set aside, there will be no need for any interpretation of whether or not the order is against the Traditional Council or only against the funeral planning committee. Okay, so this is what happened. That's why you saw my name. I told you that you hold on and you see what will happen today.
So what did you say to the court? How did you argue, or what different things did you say to the court to make the court agree with you instead and change its mind from yesterday?
I think you are a very reputable station. And so next time I would suggest that you send your representatives to court.
I would also advise next time, Honorable, that you tell us you are going for a case like this. You did not inform us, and so we only saw this information in the public. And since you were you said to me that you are going to do a press information to give us information. That's what you said to us.
In other cases, is it not your duty to look for news?
Yes, that's why I have called you on the phone, and I want you to share with me today. I want you to be I want you to be my court correspondent today. So kindly.
You should have sent people.
Okay, so we are sorry, we did not send. We're busy solving the problems of the flat situation. No more you are done. You'll find it. So please tell us now. Thank you. We've just spoken in Ghana here. You see, I remember when you went to the Supreme Court and interceded on behalf of somebody who was going to be jailed for contempt. You have done the same thing again. So tonight, please tell us what you said to the court differently.
Oh, well, yesterday I explained to you that this order, in our view, cannot hold. I mean, all that we needed to do is to ensure that we got it off. And you remember, there's something we call ex parte application. In an ex parte application, the other side is not set. So the people went there and said whatever they wanted to say to the judge. One of the things that got us pissed was the fact that they said we were preventing them from taking part in the funeral, which is not true. Like we had hijacked the funeral. They were part of the funeral planning committee, and they wrote letters withdrawing from the funeral planning committee. So how could you have gone to do what you want to do? In any case, how would the court know what we call it, the preparation so far? Because the court thought that maybe we're just now about to start. But the funeral is taking off. We've spent money on canopies, chairs, public address systems, standing fans, mystic fans, movable air conditioners. You know, we've spent so much money. The funeral grounds, you just need to send people here. And I think your boys were here. Are they taking pictures of the field?
So you see, they were busy. They were busy at the funeral ground. That's why they didn't go to the courts.
Yeah, taking pictures of the new walkways and roads that we have created, new cabs. You know, I mean, if you do all these things, there's something we call balance of convenience. If the court take into account the balance of convenience, that when it granted the injunction, it is going to, lead to hardship on us. The court didn't know. So we sent the pictures to go and demonstrate what we have done so far, and to explain and to show the lectures that they wrote, withdrawing themselves, as it were, from the committee's work, And so, in other words, all we were telling the court was that they misrepresented facts to the court and then they succeeded in getting the order. And we think that was not good enough. So, if the court now knows the facts, the court should feel at its end and then set it aside. That's it.
Very well. Thank you for that argument and congratulations on winning. Final question. You have been an attorney general before. If someone comes to you on Saturday and says, or Sunday and says that you, the funeral organizers, have infringed on their right to movement by preventing them to come to Accra Central, or right to do business by coming to open their shops, what would be the counter argument?
Oh, yesterday I said it to you and you have forgotten. I said that the Constitution permits communities and recognizes customary law. So, for every community, you have every right to bring out your own laws, customary, practices and usages. Okay? And that customary law is part of the laws of this country. So, what we have done is nothing, extraordinary. We are just taking note of the constitutional injunction that allows us to go ahead and do what we are doing. So when they come, we tell them there's nothing unconstitutional or lawful about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Honorable Niaikwe Otu. He's also Excellency because he's immediate past Ghana's High Commissioner to Canada. He was speaking to us there about the new decision on the funeral service of the Gamanye. So you've heard it now. All clear given by the courts. The funeral happens this weekend. The requests from the committee, and for that matter, the traditional council, the Ghana Traditional Council, is that you do not do commercial activities on Saturday, you don't engage in academic activities whatsoever, and that if people defy these people will be dealt with by the Asafo Achweme, who have the appropriate traditional authority to deal with these matters. That is the information that we're having. Yesterday, there was an injunction on the funeral by a group. That injunction has since been reversed. And so that is the official position that we move on with. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll return with more. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Charlie, the transport business there, when it's nice. But if your driver starts frustrating you, hey, sleepless nights too. Ever since Core Fleet Tracking was recommended to me, at the feedback, their service will let you know vehicle location in real time, including speeding, and you can remotely immobilize the vehicle. You will also get real-time fuel information on exact refill volumes and get alerts on fuel theft. Core Fleet will also warn you if your drivers are driving dangerously and alert you on driver fatigue, driver on phone, and driver not wearing seatbelts. Visit www.corefleet.com for more information. That is KORfleet.com or call 0532 116 711.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. The New Patriotic Party NPP and the Police Service have reached an agreement on the elections modalities for the upcoming NPP presidential primary scheduled for November 4. The party has agreed to allow the police service to take complete control of security during the elections. During this engagement involving both parties, Professor Aaron Mike Okoye, the chairman of the Presidential Election Committee for the NPP, asked the police to deal with individuals who engage in misconduct during the elections.
We are authorizing you as a party to take absolute control of all the processes that you regulate during a normal election in this republic. We have made a number of guidelines. It's a matter of common consent. In fact, we've worked out the dynamics in such a way that Dr. Bosman and Co. may want to know that we also have our own IPAC, and we call it Intra-Party Advisory Committee. These are not inter-party, but intra-party. And we are working together. So there's nothing new to any of the gentlemen who are seated here now representing the relevant candidates in our election. We are saying this to assure you that the regulations which they have all signed to, and which we are going to make available to the police, already available to the EC, is going to be the blueprint of the process. Anyone who disregards this on that day should be dealt with according to law. We want to establish that this country is a lawful nation. And for that matter in particular, the NPP is an advanced party.
Professor Aaron Michael Okoye is the chairman of the Presidential Elections Committee for the New Patriotic Party. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, has called for cooperation to ensure the diligent execution of their duties.
We want to assure you that on the 4th, we are going to give you an overdose of security. And it will be excellent. It will be awesome. All what we require from you is to support us for each and every one of us to play his or its role. And then with that, we'll be able to ensure that the police will do their work, the EC will do their work, and all the people who will be voting across the country will also come out freely, willingly to vote. And all the agents will also do what they're supposed to do for all of us to finish that process and for all of us to be winners at the level of the party, at the level of the country, and also at the level of the continent. It is on this note that we want to, on behalf of my colleagues, to once again welcome you and for us to have this fruitful discussion and thereafter we'll take it forward. And we know it will be successful. So let's work together towards that.
Dr. George Okufu-Dampare is Inspector General of Police. On the other hand, the Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations at the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, also indicated that preparations are well underway to guarantee a smooth election process.
We have issues like recruitment of officials for the elections, issues like printing of ballots, issues relating to agents who will be represented at all the police stations, and so many other issues. So far, the engagements with the security services as well as the elections committee of the NPP has actually gone on well, and we are looking forward to have the final selection of a presidential candidate on the 4th of November. We are almost close to the date, and the commission is not leaving any stone unturned. We are doing all what we could to make the election successful. We also plead with other stakeholders. We know how the police has actually been working. We know how the elections committee has also been working very hard. We plead with all stakeholders to join the commission to have a very successful elections come November 4th.
A Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations at the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete. The People's National Convention, PNC, has petitioned the Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department to recover a vehicle that is currently in the possession of a former flag bearer of the party, David Apasera. The PNC claims that the vehicle was provided to Mr. Apasera to support his presidential campaign during the 2020 general elections, but he has failed to return it to the party. In an interview with Citi News, the General Secretary of the party, Janet Nabla, stated that the party would take all necessary measures to reclaim the vehicle.
Ghana, we have allowed our state institutions to hide under the umbrella of politics to not work and to also help criminals to perpetrate crimes. Our issue is simple. Who helped Apasara to get that DVLA document that made him the owner of the vehicle? That is what we are asking. The second one is that the document is fraudulent, so Apasara should be arrested. These are the two cases we are asking Ghanaians to help us. Because if somebody who was a 2020 flag bearer of a political party can come up with this criminality, and then Ghana, we are keeping quiet, we are running after things, doing politics, while criminals are hiding under the umbrella of politics to perpetrate crime through using our state institutions. Oh, this one there, we will not allow it to just. We won't allow it. We will use our last blood to fight it. Because Liman is one of the presidents that after he left power, none of his ministers were found to be corrupt. So we will not allow corrupt people to come and hide under the umbrella of PNC to perpetrate crime and to destroy the ideology of the PNC.
Janet Nabla is General Secretary of the People's National Convention, that is PNC. The Vice Chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Offensive South constituency of the Ashanti region has tragically passed away in a road crash. According to eyewitnesses, Mr. Dauda Afriye was riding a motorcycle from Offensive Old Town to the New Town when the incident occurred. It is said that the incident transpired when he attempted to overtake a vehicle that had slowed down to let a school bus turn at a junction. Upon overtaking the vehicle, he suddenly realized there was a school bus ahead and collided with it, resulting in his unfortunate demise. The NPP constituency chairman for Offensive South, Kweku Techi, who confirmed the incident to Citi News, expressed deep sorrow over the loss of Mr. Dauda Afriye and highlighted his significant contributions to the party over the years. The Palestinian ambassador to Ghana, Abdel Fattah al-Tattari, has expressed appreciation for the solidarity displayed by Ghanaians towards Palestinians in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, despite the president's position on the issue. This comes on the back of a declaration of support for Israel by President Akufo-Addo in his address at the headquarters of the United States Institute of Peace in the U.S. At least 7,000 people, including children, have been killed in the ongoing bombardment. Speaking at a news conference organized by the Coalition of Muslim Organizations in Accra, The Palestinian diplomat underscored the need for Ghana to join effort to fight what he described as injustice towards Palestinians.
I don't like to talk about the Ghana decision. This is Ghana. She can take any decision. She said this is the right, okay. But I know the president very well. I know the government of Ghana. Most of the time, all the times, Ghana stand by the side of justice and the human rights and the international law. And Ghana all the time vote with the Palestinian people in the UN and the Human Rights Council all the time. And maybe Israel are not happy from Ghana for this decision, you know. And in Ghana here, I received a lot of messages on my phone, and a lot of leaders called me to show their solidarity with my people and support my people. So all the time, and everywhere I'm going or meet the people, all the time I thank the Ghanaian people about their historical support to my people. And I understand Ghana policy very well because I stay in Ghana now, and close to 9 years now, and I know this country was very generous with the Palestinian people, and I'd like to thank her about everything.
Abdel Fattah al-Satawi is the Palestinian ambassador to Ghana. The Association of Road Contractors in Ghana have rejected the allegations by the former rector of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, Professor Stephen Adai, that bribes determine who gets to be awarded road contract. Professor Stephen Adai had alleged in a TV interview that persons seeking road contract had to pay $1 million before they were awarded the contract. According to the Association of Road Contractors, the comment by the Venerable Professor taints their hard-earned reputation. National Chair of the Association of Road Contractors, John Afo, has been speaking to City News.
I want you to be on record that the Minister of Roads and Highways, Honorable Amakwata, has been hammering that if you have the capacity and you have especially the capital and the technical know-how to execute the project, he's ready to give you a project to do. The reason is that there are a lot of projects around and we don't have contractors to take and perform. Go and pay 1 million cedis for just a paper, then go to work and he is not paid and he's happy paying the 1 million cedis. It doesn't do well. So I don't think that is something that has happened. And I think that is why the ministry is bold enough to say it should go to Yoko for investigation. If somebody has done it, like what Professor Day is saying, then they should come out and let us see. But what I also want to say is that it is not real for somebody to do that in this era that we are in. So we want Professor Day to come clear on that.
John Afol is National Chair of the Association of Road Contractors in Ghana.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Let's settle for the details now. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, has clarified recent concerns raised by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, regarding an approximate sum of $340 million that Jubilee Oil Holdings Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of GNPC, allegedly failed to deposit into the Petroleum Holding Fund. GNPC explains that discussions in the media have insinuated its involvement in a non-transparent effort to secure a loan agreement with Litasco without the necessary parliamentary approval.
According to a document cited by Citi Business News, JNPC asserts that PIAC is aware of JNPC's different stance on the long-standing view of PIAC. JNPC claims to have previously provided explanations on multiple occasions as to why revenues from its subsidiary petroleum activities are not considered petroleum revenue to be deposited into the Petroleum Holding Fund. JNPC emphasizes that not all petroleum revenue generated in Ghana is mandated to be paid into the fund. Neither JNPC nor the Jubilee Oil Holding Limited has stolen or made any attempt to steal $343 million meant for the Petroleum Holding Fund as being portrayed by the media reportage, and JNPC strongly denounces all related disinformation and false news surrounding the issue. The proceeds from the sale of JOHL's crude oil cargoes are paid into its account, and as a sign of transparency, JNPC continues to provide information on the utilization of this money by JOHL to PIAC upon request. It needs to be reiterated that JNPC's position of not paying JOHL's revenues into the Petroleum Holding Fund is supported by the express written legal opinion of the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana.
Those were excerpts of a statement by GNPC on payment of revenues into the Petroleum Holding Fund. The National Insurance Commission has committed to increasing insurance coverage to 60% by 2028. Currently, insurance coverage stands at approximately 40%, prompting concerted effort to expand it within the next 5 years. The Acting Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission, Michael Andor, says tailored products targeted at the informal sector are being developed to serve the informal economy.
In the next 5 years, we are expecting to take this to about 60%. And this is the percentage of the population that is covered by insurance. We sometimes get obsessed with insurance penetration, and I understand that is how much money insurance is making. This is how many people is insurance protecting, and I think lives are also important. So we've been focusing at the individual personal levels with inclusive insurance for some time. Our current phase of inclusive insurance, we are looking at micro and small enterprises, micro and small businesses, the carpenters, the masons. They are the biggest employer in the system. They do run risks. The fact that they don't have insurance now doesn't mean they don't have it. They have their own risks. It's just that we haven't addressed those risks. So that's exactly what we are doing now.
Michael Andor is the Acting Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission. Local rice producers are appealing for support from the financial sector to enable them expand production and meet the growing demand of consumers. The instability of the cedi, coupled with the country's ongoing economic crisis, has prompted calls for the government to cut down importation of commodities such as rice and rather boost local production. Rice millers say although there is a huge market for locally produced rice, lack of funding is inhibiting large-scale production. Yao Edupoku is the chairman of the competitive Africa Rice platform, and he tells Citi Business News that they need funding from financial institutions to boost production.
Major harvests are started. The rice millers have primed themselves to buy as much as they can, and thanks to the rains, the moisture level of the rice are very good. But funding to pay for the paddy rice is scanty. We are not getting any help from the financial institution. That will actually inform on the volume that we can bring into the market before the Harmattan set in. Assuming we have a ready avenue to access capital to buy as much as we can from the farmers, we will immediately leave the paddy from the farmers and then bring to the market. But this is not happening. So we are relying on our own resources and our own finances to buy from the farmer, and that is not adequate enough. Year in, year out, same story, same ending. So now almost everyone, the stakeholders along the value chain, are all frustrated. So we're doing what we can. If government comes through, it's fine. If it doesn't come through, we do what we can. But we don't expect that much of government.
Yao Edupoku is the chairman of the competitive Africa Rice platform. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture has re-emphasized its stance to bridge the unemployment gap following the launch of its 200,000 Youth in Agribusiness program. The program, being held in collaboration with the Youth Employment Agency, secures 10 acres of land to young farmers where over 400,000 hectares of arable land are cultivated. The target commodities are maize, rice, and vegetables. Delivering his opening remarks at the presidential roundtable discussion with development partners on the second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program, the sector minister Brian Ichampo expressed the significance of the agribusiness program.
MOFA and the Youth in Employment Agency took the opportunity of this engagement to launch a 200,000 Youth in Agriculture program. Let's put this in perspective. If all the 200,000 youth go into maize production, the program allocates 10 acres per young farmer, and with an average yield of 50 kilograms, they will produce 100 million bags, which is equivalent to 5 million metric tons of maize. This will be more than enough to cover our national consumption of 2.5 million metric tons, leaving a surplus for export and buffers, or as you will call it, food resilience.
Brian Ichampo is Minister for Food and Agriculture. In response to the recent report from the Ghana Statistical Service highlighting disparities in the distribution of safe water, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has announced its commitment to address this issue by utilizing the statistical data provided. The report reveals that access to on-premises drinking water sources varies by region. The Greater Accra region has the highest percentage of 88.9%, while the Northeast region lags behind at 8.7%. As part of its medium-term national development policy framework spanning from 2022 to 2025, Ghana is committed to ensuring that 70% of its population can access safely managed drinking water. Here is the Director of Administration at the Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry, Patricia Simpson.
As a ministry, for the water and sanitation sector, is for all persons in the country to have access to safe and good water and sustainable environmental sanitation. This vision is in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is to ensure access to clean drinking water, sanitation for the well-being of all people in our country. I am pleased to note that the reports present statistics generated from 2010 and 2021 population and housing census data sets. The water-related indicators in the reports include statistics on the main sources of drinking water, main sources for domestic purposes, households with source of drinking water on the premises, average time spent by households without drinking water sources on their premises, and use of water classified as improved water sources for drinking, categorized by region, districts, and type of locality. It is our expectation that this further analysis of the data will enhance targeting and priority setting in our collective efforts to attain adequate, clean, and reliable water supply, as well as decent environment for all.
That was the Director of Administration at the Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry, Patricia Simpson, ending City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandama. Tonight on Point Blank, we'll talk about the agriculture sector. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has underscored the vital need for robust collaboration between the government and development partners as the second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program PFJ2 unfolds. The President's statement comes on the back of concerns over inadequate engagement between specific international development agencies and the government, leading to investments that diverge from national policies. The President made the remarks at a presidential roundtable discussion where he engaged with development partners to deliberate on PFJ 2.0. Let's listen to him.
I thank you for coming to meet with me today to discuss one of our nation's most important sectors, the food and agriculture sector. I must at the outset applaud the long-standing commitment of your respective governments and global agencies to Ghana's economic progress. A commitment which has contributed significantly to making agriculture a major driving force behind the growth of the Ghanaian economy, with the sector maintaining an average growth rate of 5.9% over the past 6 years, up from the 2.9% we inherited in 2017. Indeed, since the adoption of the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, agriculture has emerged as a crucial player in directly addressing Goals 1 and 2, which focus on the eradication of hunger and poverty. Despite encountering challenges stemming sometimes from unfavorable internal and external factors, I'm pleased to report that our economy is showing signs of strong recovery, with the agricultural sector registering an impressive 6.2% growth rate in the third quarter of this year. In this journey, Ghana's friends have played a vital role through the provision of substantial support to government in the form of technical assistance and financial backing. I'm hopeful that we can all continue to work together for the well-being of the people of Ghana and for the progress and prosperity of Ghana. As you know, 2 months ago on Monday, the 28th of August, in Tamale, capital of the northern region, I launched the second phase of the program for Planting for Food and Jobs, which is a 5-year strategic initiative designed to accelerate the growth of the agriculture sector in response to the exacerbated challenges it has faced, primarily due to the combined impact of recent adversities like the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Additionally, global developments such as climate change have disrupted supply chains and ravaged economies worldwide, leading to fluctuations in food prices and erosion of the resilience of food systems. In view of these circumstances, it has become imperative to conduct a comprehensive review of the initial phase of the program, which has led ultimately to the decision to re-strategize and reposition the sector for sustained growth and continuing transformation. Recognizing that achieving this overarching objective would require the collective commitment of all stakeholders, the development and rollout of the second phase of the program for Planting for Food and Jobs have been accompanied by a series of consultative processes. These processes have created opportunities for various actors in the agricultural value chain, and indeed for other organizations which are deeply invested in agriculture, to provide their inputs. Since the launch of the second phase of the program for Planting for Food and Jobs, I've had the privilege of participating in several of these consultative meetings, such as the one we're participating in today. And I must state that I'm highly encouraged by the response and engagement from all parties involved thus far. The second phase of the program for Planting for Food and Jobs is poised to continue the transformation of Ghana's agricultural landscape. We have shifted our approach from a subsidy policy to an input credit system that accommodates all participants in the agricultural value chain. This program's design places strong emphasis on commercial agriculture with a cascading effect on all stakeholders, from production to processing, distribution, and marketing. This comprehensive approach will stimulate economic activities within the sector, generate employment, support industrialization, boost exports, increase incomes, foster rural development, and propel overall economic growth. We anticipate that by the end of the 5-year implementation period, Ghana will have achieved enhanced food security and established a strong comparative advantage in the production of diverse cash and food crops and poultry products. Additionally, we aim to leverage competitively the opportunities presented by the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, in spite of the productive collaboration that has taken place between government and Friends of Ghana over the years, a matter of concern has been at times the misalignment of priorities between the policies of certain international development agencies and national policies and strategies. Government is concerned by this because projects designed by foreign governments to support Ghana's agriculture should naturally align with government's priorities. Any deviation from this can amount to misdirected investments in the country. This platform thus provides an opportunity for all of us to identify the factors causing this disconnect and take corrective measures. Furthermore, we should also address the unwelcome situation where government, through its agencies such as the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has no foreknowledge of some funds being employed in the country by international development agencies. It is important to acknowledge that the challenges facing Ghana's agriculture are multifaceted, especially in relation to available funding resources. To achieve optimal results, there is a pressing need for effective alignment, minimizing the risk of duplication and eliminating the lack of knowledge by government of projects by international development agencies. Instead, we should consciously adopt a coherent approach that promotes collaboration. Dialogues like the one we're having today are essential and should be a regular occurrence, providing avenues to discuss challenges, successes, and ensure increased collaboration in the execution of current and future agricultural development plans in Ghana. Whilst avenues for these engagements already exist, my plea is that they should be utilized more effectively. With the introduction of the second phase of the program for planting for food and jobs, and the ambitious goal of transforming significantly Ghana's agriculture by fully unlocking the sector's potential, the urgency of resource mobilization is of the greatest necessity. This is where Friends of Ghana can play a critical role in helping to fulfill their mandate to complement government's efforts. I also expect discussions on funding mechanisms such as loans, grants, technical assistance, and other agricultural support initiatives. In this mobilization effort, development agencies should work collaboratively with research institutions, farmer organizations, and private sector entities, which will undoubtedly result in increased capacity building, technology transfer, and knowledge sharing. Another vital area of collaboration between the Friends of Ghana and government that I want to emphasize is the area of monitoring and evaluation. Undoubtedly, our development efforts will have a more significant impact if efforts in monitoring and evaluation receive support from our friends and partners. This support is crucial for ensuring the accuracy of data collection and analysis, thereby helping to address identified weaknesses that affect design, planning, implementation, and project outcomes. Ultimately, robust monitoring and evaluation systems will ensure accountability and facilitate evidence-based decision-making. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm of the firm belief that the second phase of the program for planting for food and jobs will raise awareness about the potential of Ghana's agriculture and draw in the necessary investments, facilitated by your invaluable support, so that we can achieve food security and economic growth in Ghana. On the part of government, I wholeheartedly acknowledge our responsibility to create a conducive environment, and we're resolutely committed to meeting this expectation through regulatory measures and other incentives. Having said this, I appreciate very much once again the contributions of your respective governments and global agencies to helping advance Ghana's agriculture sector. I'm delighted to hear that some commitments have already been made to assist the Ministry of Food and Agriculture under its resourceful minister, the Honorable Brian Echampo, Member of Parliament for Abetifi, throughout the program's implementation. I encourage others to join in and become part of this historic endeavor, and I'm very expectant our nation can continue to count on you. May God bless the Friends of Ghana and us all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong.
As President Akufo-Addo speaking at a presidential roundtable discussion on the Planting for Food and Jobs 2.0. Let's now hear from the Minister for Agriculture and MP for Abetifi, the Honorable Brian Echampo.
The design of the strategy. I am excited to inform you that the Planting for Food and Jobs has been launched and was done so by His Excellency the President in August. Subsequently, His Excellency has met with the National House of Chiefs to make the case for the release of lands to the youth and the creation of land banks for agricultural purposes. His Excellency has again met with the leadership of all financial institutions in the country to underscore the importance of increasing lending to the agri sector. The aim of the government is to make credit to the sector affordable by targeting a maximum interest rate of 10% per year. His Excellency again met the youth and youth leaders last week in a Youth in Agriculture conference, where young farmers had a forum to express the opportunities that abound in the agribusiness sector. The President was confident that agribusiness can be used not only to solve the food security challenges, but also to address the problem of youth unemployment. MOFA and the Youth in Employment Agency took the opportunity of this engagement to launch a 200,000 Youth in Agriculture program. Let's put this in perspective. If all the 200,000 youth go into maize production, the program allocates 10 acres per young farmer, and with an average yield of 50 kilograms, they will produce 100 million bags, which is equivalent to 5 million metric tons of maize. This will be more than enough to cover our national consumption of 2.5 million metric tons, leaving a surplus for export and buffers, or as you call it, food resilience. And with an average farm gate price of 220 Ghana cedis per bag, a farmer cropping 10 acres with a yield will generate a gross revenue of 110,000 Ghana cedis per cropping cycle. And we know maize has 2 cycles in Ghana, and therefore 220,000 Ghana cedis per year. The estimated cost to generate this revenue is about 117,420 Ghana cedis per year, or 5,871 Ghana cedis per acre. This leaves a young farmer with a net profit of 102,580 Ghana cedis per year, or 8,500 Ghana cedis averagely per month. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 will work. The PFJ 2.0 is a transformative initiative that aims to consolidate and build on earlier efforts under the initial Planting for Food and Jobs. It seeks to address specific challenges within the sector, identified after an extensive review process. Some of the challenges include a limited access and high cost of credit for agricultural value chain actors, barriers to entry into agribusiness, especially for young prospective farmers, poor access to high-quality inputs, unstructured markets for agricultural produce, and the drudgery of unmechanized agriculture. The overall goal of the Planting for Food and Jobs Program Phase 2 is to transform and modernize agriculture in Ghana through the development of initially 11 selected value chains with active private sector participation. Specifically, the program is designed to ensure food availability, reduce food inflation, promote import substitution, promote exports, create jobs, and ensure food security and resilience. It is a 5-year program with 3 phases, short, medium, and long term, with the pilot and immediate phases starting September, which started September to December 2023. Clearly, contained in the strategy document are production targets to be achieved in each of the phases, ultimately reaching national food self-sufficiency by the end of the program year 2028. Ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, the success of the Planting for Food and Jobs program will depend on several factors. But for the purpose of today's discussion, I would like to focus on 4. The first one will require the active participation of the private sector in the value chains, from distribution through production, processing, and marketing. And this, we recognize, will only materialize if the government creates the right policy environment and incentives to promote private investment and capital injection into the value chains. Government is committed to doing just that. Secondly, financing these value chain activities by banks and other financial institutions and development partner programs will be critical. It is in light of this that a similar engagement under the auspices of the President was held last Monday with the financial institutions to deliberate on how financing for agribusiness can be increased. The third success factor will be increasing investment in supporting agricultural infrastructure and technology. The government, together with our development partners, will continue to invest and direct resources to where they will have the most impact to accelerate the transformation process. And the fourth one, and the reason why we are gathered here, is to refocus our partners in agriculture on the task ahead. This repurposing is necessary to achieve the targets that the country has set for itself.
Agriculture and MP for Ibetifi, Brian the Champion speaking there. It was at the Presidential Roundtable discussion on the PFJ2. Let's hear now from Deputy Minister of Finance and MP for Ejisu, John Kuma, who was also at the program.
I would like to commend the Ministry of Food and Agriculture for the sustained push to transform the sector. Like Esther in the Bible, it is beginning to be clear that Minister Brian Champon was certainly brought into the Agric ministry for such an important time like this, thanks to the wisdom of His Excellency, President Akufo-Addo. A sobering reflection and reality from a survey from the World Food Programme and the Ghana Statistical Service put Ghanaians at 49.1% population as food insecure in the first quarter of the year 2020. In essence, about 15.1 million people in Ghana experience limited or uncertain availability of nutritionally adequate food and safe food. Millions of lives hang in the balance, and we must be driven by fierce sense of urgency to restore basic dignity to people's life. I believe that the scale of the challenge is such that we cannot leave it for some other time and to some other people to solve. We must act now, working together. The paraphrase of the words of the American president, we must ask, if not now, when? If not us, who? And if not together, how? All of us, the private sector, government of Ghana, our development partners, have certainly tried to play our respective parts. And I'm encouraged by the feedback that came from the previous panel discussion on the role of development partners. I believe that as we act and work together, we can make tremendous progress working together. We have disbursed a little over $350 million from our development partners to support ongoing agricultural projects. Projects like the 27 million Savannah Agricultural Value Chain Development, the 36.6 million for Agricultural Sector Investment Program, the 103 million USD Ghana Commercial Agricultural Projects, among others. Honestly, the results of our collaborations, which augmented the PFJ1, are clear to see. Yet we need to even do furthermore around the living conditions for close to half of Ghanaian population who are currently food insecure. We cannot afford to leave anyone behind. So the government will continue to do its part. Indeed, the Ministry of Agriculture has outlined the scale of its ambition under the Planting for Food and Jobs program, and we at the Ministry of Finance will continue to support both the Agricultural Ministry and in particular the PFJ2. By the numbers, the budgetary allocation from the Ministry of Finance has moved in 2016 to has moved from 188 million cedis to 857.8 million in 2022 under His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. Crucially, we have maintained the resolve and commitment towards the agricultural sector. 2021 saw payments of 834 million to MOFA, while amidst a difficult 2022, the Ministry of Finance ensured that 92% of MOFA's approved budget was released, of which 147.8 million was directed towards CAPEX. Now to our development partners, I want to use this platform to emphasize something crucial for the PFJ2. It's not about charity, but rather partnership. Repositioning Ghana to become a regional food basket will not be a charity. It will demonstrate a durable partnership that addresses a pressing issue of our time, rising food insecurity. Your investments and partnership will stop the boats on the sea and keep our children in schools across the continent. As the government of Ghana commits to mobilizing resources, building infrastructure, and supporting our farmers at every step, we look to you not just for funds, but for knowledge, expertise, and shared commitment to this vision.
The words of Dr. John Kumar, Deputy Minister Finance, Member of Parliament Ejisu. Earlier you heard Brian Achampong, MP Ebetifi, and Minister Food and Agriculture. Before him, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and it has to do with Planting for Food and Jobs, point 2 or 2.0. That's it for Eyewitness News tonight. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. Production by Beverly London and Wilson Kwabna. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. New media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Up next is Sister with Chris Carter. Good night.